Hi everyone, welcome to our class. And today's lesson will be all about how to become a saint. In the previous file, I have asked you if you believe in miracles. I know some of you answered no, and some of you answered yes. And actually, it depends. Because there are people who would believe on something if they would witness it happening. But why are miracles important in today's lesson? That is because a miracle is one of the requirements of the Vatican in order for a person to become a saint. Let us know more about miracles and its connection to becoming a saint in this lesson. Here are our guide questions. What are the steps in becoming a saint? What are samples of miracles? What are the admirable characteristics of saints worth following? How to become a saint-like child? And now, let's proceed to our lesson. Let's start with the question, what is a saint? A saint is a holy person who is known for his or her heroic sanctity and who is thought to be in heaven. The saints of the church are a diverse group of people with varied and interesting stories. They can be martyrs, kings, queens, missionaries, widows, theologians, parents, nuns, and priests, and everyday people. But what makes them special? It's the miracles. It is an extraordinary event manifesting divine intervention in human affairs in healing miracles, described in the Gospels. Here are the examples of miracles: miracle cures, total fast for food in 13 years, the incorruptible bodies of saints, saints who raised the dead, levitation and ecstatic flights, a voice from heaven, crown of thorns, gift of understanding ancient biblical languages, miracles with animals or nature, the holy stigmata, mystical knowledge reading into hearts, gifts of speaking in tongues, miraculous male deliveries in the lives of the saints, bilocation in the lives of saints, prophecies of the saints. Here are the admirable characteristics and traits of saints. They are faithful, prayerful, kind, helpful, generous, loving, honest, responsible, brave, and respectful, supportive, compassionate, courageous, thoughtful, friendly, and humble, patient, hopeful, determined, caring, and a lot more. How does someone become a saint? There are 5 steps. Number 1, wait 5 years or don't. Number 2, become a servant of God. Number 3, show proof of heroic virtue. Number 4, verified miracle. And number 6, canonization. The process to make someone a saint cannot normally start until at least 5 years after their death. This is to allow time for emotions following the death to come down and to ensure that the individual's case can be evaluated objectively. Some have to wait a long time before they reach Catholic sainthood. Saint Bede, the theologian, died in 735 but had to wait 1,164 years before he was declared a saint. The waiting period can, however, be waived by the Pope. For example, Pope John Paul II had dispensed with a 5-year period for Mother Teresa, beginning the process in 1999, less than 2 years after her death. Once the 5 years are up, or a waiver is granted, The bishop of the diocese where the person died can open an investigation into the life of the individual to see whether they lived their lives with sufficient holiness and virtue to be considered for sainthood. Other religious groups in the diocese can also ask the bishop to open the investigation. Evidence is gathered on the person's life and deeds, including witness testimonies. If there is sufficient evidence, the bishop asks the congregation for the causes of saints, the department that makes recommendations to the Pope on saints for permission to open the case. Once the case is accepted for consideration, the individual can be called a servant of God. The Congregation for the Causes of Saints scrutinizes the evidence of the candidate's holiness, works, and signs that people have been drawn to prayer through their example. If the congregation approves the case, it is passed to the Pope. If the Pope decides that a person lived a life of heroic virtue, they can then be called venerable. To reach the next stage, which is the beatification, a miracle needs to be attributed to the prayers made to the individual after their death. The prayers being granted are seen as proof that the individual is already in heaven and hence able to intercede with God on others' behalf. Incidents need to be verified by evidence before they are accepted as miracles. After beatification, the candidate is given the title Blessed. There is one exception to the miracle requirement. A martyr, someone who died for their faith, can be beatified without a verified miracle. Canonization is the final step in declaring a deceased person a saint. To reach this stage, a second miracle normally needs to be attributed to prayers made to the candidate after they have been beatified. Martyrs, however, only need one verified miracle to become a saint. During the canonization ceremony, the Pope conducts a special Mass, reading aloud the individual's life history and then chanting a prayer in Latin that declares the person a saint. How to become a saint-like child? Becoming a saint needs time, effort, and miracles. But according to Pope Francis, to be saint is not a privilege for the few, but a vocation for everyone. It is very difficult to live a life just like the saints. But remember that nothing is small in the eyes of God. Do all that you do with love. Always remember a person can become a saint anywhere. At your work, whatever it may be, you can become a saint through meekness, patience, and love. Make a new start every day with new resolution, enthusiasm and love, prayer and silence. That would be all for our lesson today. Thank you for joining. If you have questions, you can message me.